From translation, NKJV New King James Version, this 160th day of the year, today we are reading passages, Job 29-31, Job chapter 29, verses 1 to 25. Moreover, Job continued his discourse and said, "Oh, that I were as in months past, as in the days when God watched over me, when his lamp shone upon my head, and when by his light I walked through darkness. Just as I was in the days of my prime, when the friendly counsel of God was over me, when the Almighty was yet with me, when my children were around me, when my steps bathed in cream, and the rock poured out rivers of oil for me. When I went out to the gate by the city, when I took my seat in the open square, the young men saw me and hid, and the aged arose and stood. The princes refrained from talking and put their hand on their mouth. The voice of the nobles was hushed, and their tongue stuck to the roof of their mouth. When the ear heard me, then it blessed me, and when the eye saw me, it approved me. Because I delivered the poor who cried out, the fatherless and the one who had no helper. The blessing of a perishing man came upon me, and I caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. I put on righteousness, and it clothed me. My justice was like a robe and a turban. I was eyes to the blind and feet to the lame. I was a father to the poor, and I searched out the case that I did not know. I broke the fangs of the wicked, and plucked the victim from his teeth. Then I said, I shall die in my nest, and as the palm tree grow I will multiply my days. My root is spread out to the waters, and dew lies all night on my branch. My glory was fresh in me, and my bow was renewed in my hand. They listened to me and waited, and kept silence for my counsel. After I spoke, they spoke not again, and my speech settled on them as dew. They waited for me as for the rain, and they opened their mouth wide as for the late rain. If I mocked at them, they did not believe it, and the light of my countenance they did not cast down. I chose their way and sat as chief, and dwelt as a king in the army, as one who comforts the mourners." Job chapter 30, verses 1 to 31. But now those younger than me mock me, whose fathers I disdain to put with the dogs of my flock. Indeed, what good were the strength of their hands to me, for their vigor has perished. From want and famine, they are gaunt who flee to the wilderness desolate and waste, who cut mallows by the bushes, and brambles for their food. They were driven from among men, they shouted at them as at a thief. They had to live in the clefts of the valleys, in holes of the earth and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they huddled together. Fools, a nameless generation, they are wiped out from the land. Now I have become their taunt, I am a byword to them. They abhor me, they keep far from me. They do not hesitate to spit in my face, for he has loosened my cord and afflicted me, and they have cast off the bridle before me. On the right they prepare their attack, they lay traps for my feet. They break up my path, they promote my disaster, no one restrains them. As through a wide breach they come, amid the ruin they roll themselves. Terrors are turned upon me. They pursue my honor as the wind, and my prosperity has passed like a cloud. And now my soul is poured out on me, the days of affliction take hold of me. My night has no tears, my bone sticks to my skin and my flesh, and I have escaped without perishing. By God's great force my garment is disfigured, it binds me as the collar of my coat. He has cast me into the mire, and I have become like dust and ashes. I cry out to you, but you do not answer me. I stand up, but you regard me. You have become cruel to me, with the strength of your hand you oppose me. You lift me up on the wind, you cause me to ride on it, and you dissolve my substance in the storm. For I know that you will bring me to death, and to the house of meeting for all living. Yet does not the ear of arrogance test words, and does not the eye of the arrogant see it? For I looked on the righteous, and he perished. And I looked on the upright, and they were no more. Their houses were desolate and in ruins. When I looked for good, then evil came. For waiting for light, then darkness came. My heart is troubled and cannot rest. Days of affliction confront me. I go about blackened, but not by the sun. I stand up in the assembly and cry for help. I am a brother to jackals and a companion to ostriches. My skin is black and falls from me. My bones burn with fever. My harp is turned to mourning, and my flute to the voice of those who weep. Job chapter 31, verses 1 to 40. I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I look upon a young woman? For what is the portion from God above, and what is the inheritance from the Almighty on high? Is it not destruction for the wicked, and disaster for the workers of iniquity? Does he not see my ways, and count all my steps? If I have walked with vanity, or if my foot has hastened to deceit, let me be weighed on honest scales, that God may know my integrity. If my step has turned from the way, or if my heart walked after my eyes, or if any spot has stuck to my hands, then let me sow, and another eat. Yes, let my offspring be rooted out. If my heart has been enticed by a woman, or if I have lurked at my neighbor's door, then let my wife grind for another, and let others kneel down over her. For that would be a heinous crime. Yes, it would be an iniquity to be punished by the judges, for it is a fire that consumes to abaddon, and would uproot all my increase. If I have despised the cause of my male servant or female servant when they contended with me, what then shall I do when God rises up? When he calls me to account, how shall I answer him? Did not he who made me in the womb make them? Did not the same one fashion us in the womb? If I have withheld the poor from their desire, or caused the eyes of the widow to fail, or eaten my morsel alone, and the fatherless has not eaten from it, for from my youth the fatherless grew up as my sons, as I was a father to the needy. If I have seen anyone perish for lack of clothing, or any poor man without covering, if his loins have not blessed me, and if he was not warmed with the fleece of my sheep, if I have raised my hand against the fatherless, when I saw my help in the gate, then let my arm fall from my shoulder, let my arm be broken from its bone. For destruction from God is a terror to me, and because of his majesty I cannot do it. If I have made gold my hope, or said to find gold, you are my confidence, if I have rejoiced because my wealth was great, and because my hand had gained much. If I have observed the sun when it shines, or the moon moving in brightness, so that my heart has been secretly enticed, or my mouth has kissed my hand, this also would be an iniquity to be punished by the judge, for I would have denied God who is above. If I have rejoiced at the destruction of him who hated me, or lifted up myself when evil found him, I have not allowed my mouth to sin by asking for his life with a curse. If the men of my tent have not said, who can find one who has not been satisfied with his meat? The stranger did not lodge in the street. But I opened my doors to the traveler. If I have covered my transgressions as Adam, by hiding my iniquity in my bosom, because I feared the multitude, and dreaded the contempt of families, so that I kept silence and did not go out of the door, oh, that one would hear me. Here is my signature, let the Almighty answer me. And the indictment which my adversary has written, surely I would carry it on my shoulder, I would bind it on me like a crown, I would declare to him the number of my steps, like a prince I would approach him. If my land has cried out against me, and its furrows together mourned, if I have eaten its fruit without money, or caused its owners to lose their life. Let thorns grow instead of wheat, and stinkweed instead of barley. The words of Job are ended.